He was a surgeon who performed major chest operations on a moving warship. He was a brilliant lawyer who never lost a case. He was a dean of philosophy, a prison warden, and even a Benedictine monk. His name was Ferdinand Demara, but you might know him better as the Great Impostor. For over 30 years, he lived dozens of lives, held high-ranking jobs, and saved actual human lives, all without a single day of formal training. He never even finished high school. Imagine standing over a bleeding soldier, holding a scalpel, while a crew of nurses waits for your first move. You aren't a doctor. You're a high school dropout who spent last night reading a medical textbook. What do you do? Today we explore the impossible life of the man who became whoever he wanted to be. Ferdinand Waldo Demara was born in 1921 in Massachusetts. He wasn't born a criminal. He was born a dreamer. His family lost everything in the Great Depression, and young Fred hated the reality he was left with. So, at age 16, he ran away. His first stop? A monastery. He wanted to find peace, but he lacked the patience for years of study. This is where he discovered his superpower. He realized that if you act with enough confidence, people rarely ask for your credentials. During World War II, he joined the Navy, then the Army. But the military was too slow for him. So he did something unthinkable. He faked his own suicide, left a note on a bridge, and vanished. He wasn't Fred Demara anymore. He was now Robert Linton French, a religious psychologist. 1951. The Korean War is at its peak. Demara meets a young Canadian doctor named Joseph Cyr. In a move of calculated genius, Demara steals the doctor's credentials and joins the Royal Canadian Navy as a commissioned surgeon lieutenant. He was assigned to the HMCS Cayuga. There was just one problem. There were no other doctors on board. Demara was the only one. For weeks, he treated minor colds and cuts by secretly reading medical books in his cabin. But then, the nightmare happened. 16 critically wounded soldiers were brought onto the ship. Some had shrapnel in their chests. They were dying. The captain turned to Demara and said, "Doctor, they're yours." Most people would confess. Demara did the opposite. He locked himself in his room with a manual of minor surgery. He memorized the steps for a lung operation in minutes. He then walked into the operating theater, ordered the nurses to keep the area clean, and began to cut. He didn't just perform one surgery. He performed 16. He removed a bullet from a man's chest just millimeters from his heart. Every single soldier survived. Not a single infection. The fake doctor had become a national hero. Fame was Demara's undoing. The real Dr. Joseph Cyr saw the headlines and called the police. Demara was quietly discharged and kicked out of the Navy. But he didn't stop. But before the Texas prison, there was the academic world. Under another stolen name, Demara became a dean of philosophy at a small college in Pennsylvania. Imagine that. A man who never finished school, grading the papers of university students, and debating complex metaphysical theories with other professors. He even co-founded a religious college in Maine. He was building entire institutions based on a lie, and the terrifying part was, he was actually good at it. The institutions he touched often thrived under his fake leadership. A year later, he appeared in Texas as Ben Jones. He landed a job as a maximum security prison warden. He was so good at it that he was put in charge of the most dangerous wing of the prison. He reformed the inmates, used psychology to stop riots, and became the most respected man in the facility. When he was finally caught again, the governor of Texas was shocked. He didn't want to fire him. He said Demara was the best warden they'd ever had. Demara eventually became a legend. A Hollywood movie was made about him, starring Tony Curtis. But the real Ferdinand struggled. He once said, "I was always a protagonist, but I never had a stage of my own." He wasn't a con artist who stole money. He never robbed anyone. He stole prestige. He wanted to feel important, to be the hero of a story he wasn't qualified to write. In his final years, he actually became a real ordained minister, proving that sometimes, if you pretend to be a good man long enough, you might just become one. Ferdinand Demara proved that the only thing standing between a man and his dreams is a lot of confidence. And a very good printer. Thanks for watching Protagonist Stories. If you found this impossible life as fascinating as we did, hit the subscribe button and tell us in the comments, is Demara a hero or a criminal? We'll see you in the next story.